I'm Fuji. Thank you for your additional comment. I just checked what kind of work I want to automate. I think it's going to be a little complicated, but it's possible to automate what you're trying to do with TaskMagic. I'm going to avoid explaining the details this time. In other words, I'm going to avoid explaining which page to open and how to do it. I'd like you to take a look at the video I prepared this time and do a little copy-paste based on it. It doesn't change much what you do. You can open a specific page, copy a specific item, click on it, paste it, and copy it. It's possible to automate things like this. So I'd like you to automate what you actually want to do based on this. At the end of the video, it's going to be a little too simple, so I'm going to supplement it a little bit. There's one thing to note when you're doing this kind of copy-paste work. If I try to explain this, it's going to be a little complicated, or it's going to feel difficult. I'm going to use the example of DeepL that I introduced this time as an example. This is DeepL. I'm actually going to try to automate it. I'm going to start TaskMagic and try to automate it with a guide build. I'm actually going to open DeepL. It's going to be displayed like this. But let's say you want to click on this input area. I'm actually going to press the plus button and click on the record. After that, I'm going to choose the item I want to click on. Even when you click on the input area, you can't decide whether to click on the type to translate or the entire input area. If you click on either of these, the automation function will change. In fact, if you try to automate this type to translate, you'll fail. If you try to click on something here and input the text, you'll fail. So if you're actually going to automate it, you need to specify the whole thing. How can you tell the difference? It's by looking at the actual DeepL website. I think it's easier to see if you look at the actual DeepL page. The item to input the text to translate is the type to translate on this screen. If you click here, you can see that it's inverted. In other words, it's treated as if you clicked here. But on the other hand, even if you don't click here, if you click on the edge of this input area, in that case, it will be treated as if you clicked. That's how it's judged. It's blinking, right? So when you actually click, if you click on this input area instead of this type to translate, it means that it will be recognized separately. That's why it's accurate to click on the entire input area when automating. If you specify this here, in other words, this part, it's the deeper part of this input area. It's treated as if you click here. Maybe it's here. I think it's here. So it's pretty limited. I think the input will probably fail here. Let's actually do something. Well, let's say you've entered some text and the translation is complete. Even if you want to copy this translated text, I think you'll have trouble here too. Even if you click plus and scrape to get a single item. For example, do you scrape the entire input area? Do you get this first row? Or do you just get this word? I don't think you'll know which one to get right. I'd like you to try this out. I think it's easy to fail at first. It's about which one to get right. So here's a little note. So when you're trying to automate something, when you're trying to automate copying, if you want to click here, if you want to click and specify it, but it doesn't work well, it's likely that you're clicking in the wrong place. It's likely that you're clicking in the wrong place. At the same time, if you want to collect this finished text, even if you want to extract it, for some reason you can't collect this. If you can't scrape it, it's probably the item you specify to collect it. It means you're in the wrong place. So I'm sure you'll be able to fix that. I think it will work well. At first you have to be serious. If you're trying to do something complicated, I think it's going to take a little bit of time. Basically, the only point that is likely to fail is here. You're in the wrong place to click. You're in the wrong place to specify. You're in the wrong place to scrape. It's an error that's likely to happen. I'd like you to keep that in mind. I'd like you to make an automatic one this time. That's what I'm saying. So I'm sure you'll be able to do what you're trying to do this time. Please try it out. Bye.